I don't know if you're like me, you may have heard, perhaps some of you have even seen a recording going around by Rabbi Sholom Tendler talking about beer, about kashrut, and also, this is obviously relevant. Yesterday was the first day of the new policies by OU, I think Starkey as well, probably others, talking about beer, about what can be served, what can't be served. There's a couple of his comments. I'm curious, maybe you have similar thoughts as I do. The first of which is this comment about Shalom Zachars.
95% of the beers that you're going to encounter at any given Shalom Zachar are kosher already anyway.
I don't know where he gets this 95% number from. I don't even know how anybody would find, there's no empirical study of Shalom Zachar. So that's kind of wild, but you know what? Maybe we can be done that, even though it gives off the impression that this is actually a real statistic, which is clearly not, because there's no way to know how many Shalom Zachars there are out there and how many actually serve already beers under hashgacha. Look, I think you are probably like me, you know the joke. What's the right beer for a Shalom Zachar? Sam Adams. Fine, you get enough of a variety. It's not the greatest, but you get enough of a variety. Most of it's under hashgacha anyways. Good for you. I think, that's sort of the go-to, seemingly kind of jokingly, but I get that. Maybe it's people playing it safely, but we really don't know. It could be a majority. I think it's fair to say a majority, or even if you want to say an overwhelming majority, but this is all really just what people themselves experience. And I'm sure from place to place, it probably also widely differs. So I think this is, I may disagree with his deciding to cite some sort of statistic which doesn't actually exist. Okay, fine, I'll let that go. But there's this other comment that he then makes.
An overwhelming majority of the breweries around already have a hashgacha. So therefore, this whole policy change is really not necessarily as big of a deal as people really think it is.
Which I find, and I'm shocked by this. Now, and conversations on WhatsApp, I was absolutely baffled by this wildly outrageous and totally erroneous statement. Although, look, because we know there are thousands of breweries out there, and unless there's something I don't know about all these breweries out there being on hashgacha, trust me, even where I live, that's just not true. Now, it is, I think the key word in that statement by Rabbi Tendler is around. What does around mean? Does around mean wherever the listeners are? Does that mean anywhere in America? Because it's a teeny tiny fraction of breweries are actually in hashgacha. However, if he meant, he was clearly in a physical space in a particular room, and perhaps within a mile radius of where he was speaking, everything or most of all the breweries in that area were on hashgacha. And I think that's a good way of taking him down l'chafzachos. I think, however, for most listeners who could be anywhere in America, I do think we have to be aware of the actual reality that a really teeny tiny minority of breweries are currently in hashgacha. So I think that is an important factual piece to consider when listening to this recording.